Hi guys, and welcome to part 4 of my mod review of Rotarycraft by Reika. In this part I'll be focusing on all of the farming machines, so without delay, let's get started. First we have this, the Autobreeder, and like the name suggests, you can use this machine to autobreed animals. If I go into the machine, you can see that there are slots where you can put in items to breed different animals. I have wheat in there, which, as you guys know, you need to breed cows. If I go in the info, you can see that the required power is that, and the range depends directly on how much power you put in. If you just put in the least amount of power, you get the range of 8, and if you put in more power, the range increases according to this equation just here. If I go here, you can see that I have an industrial coil hooked up to the machine, and it's outputting a lot of power. As you can see, the range in my machine is just 128 meters, and that's actually the max range of the machine as well. However, if you put in the least amount of power, your range will be 8 naturally. So now I'll just spawn 2 cows. If I spawn a cow here, you can see that it's slowly being pulled towards the Autobreeder. It will take some time, but the cows will eventually be pulled into the machine and fed wheat. But just for demonstration purposes, I'll just spawn 2 close by. And there you have it. The cows are fed. You can see a baby cow just here. And this cow here is still being pulled to the Autobreeder slowly. And this works with all animals, including wolves. As you can see, the cows are being closer and closer. And when they both touch the machine, you can see hearts on both of them. Heart on one, and let's just give this guy a push. There you go. Obviously the fence I have put around it hinders their movement just a tiny bit. Look, a baby cow. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to throw in some carrots and spawn some pigs. Pig number 1. Let's see it being pulled closer and closer. And go on. There you go. And there you have it. A tiny little piggy. And if you see here in the graphic, you can see what item I put in there. As you can see, these bits of carrot, wheat, etc, etc. Next we have the bait box. Again, like the name suggests, you can use this machine to bait animals. You can also use this machine to repel animals, and not just animals, in fact, all sorts of mobs. If I turn this on, and you can see there is power. I'll just go to the info here. You can see that you can use it to attract or repel mobs, hostile or non-hostile. And if I go here, you can see all the different items I can use to repel all different kinds of mobs. For example, to attract villagers, I would use emeralds. For bats, it would be watermelons. Cows would be wheat. Pigs will be carrot, and so on and so on. So, and you can see here, just like the other machine, the minimum range is 8, and to increase the range any higher, you need to give it higher power. If you watch here, you can see all the different things you can use to attract all different sorts of animals and mobs, which is really handy, as you can assume. So let's see the bait box in action. What I have in there is a stick which repels cows and a carrot which attracts pigs. So I'll just spawn a cow, and we can see that, it is being pushed back slowly. However, if I was to put a pig exactly where the cow is now, okay, I see what's up. Because the pig is being repelled as well, that obviously means one simple thing. Cows repel on stick, pigs repel with stick as well. Okay, so if I take out the stick, there we go, the pig is rushing towards the bait box. The cow, however, is still not affected. So I just go here, throw in some wheat, and I can watch the cow rush towards the bait box. Okay, well, maybe not rush, but close enough. So if you want to make your base safe from, say, zombie pigmen in the nether, or endermen, just your normal base, you can use this box. So yeah, the bait box is super handy. And next we have another super handy machine, the spawner control. Again, like the name suggests, you use this machine to control spawners. You can basically control how quickly they spawn mobs. If I go here, you can see that, like I said, you can use it to control the spawn rate of spawners. If I go here, however, you can see that the required power is that much, and then the minimum delay comes into consideration. The minimum delay is how long the spawner stops, or rather takes a break between spawning two mobs. The minimum delay, which is 800, is how much you have to wait if you put in just the required amount of power, which would be the least amount of power you could give it for it to function. To increase the minimum delay, you have to put in more speed. It works like this. If you increase the speed to 8, as you can see, I have the speed to a lot, and then the torque just to 1, because this machine doesn't need a lot of torque. However, it does need a lot of speed. So if you put in speed of 8, log of 8 to the base 2 is 3, because 2 to the power of 3 is 8. I'll put up some equations and annotations in the video, but yeah. So if I go here and turn the machine on, there you go, power is on, and now the spawn delay is 0, but the spawner is not spawning anything because it's daylight. When the spawner rate delay is 0, if I was to make it night right now, my entire screen would be full of skeletons. In fact, let me do just that, just for a tiny bit. Set time to midnight and set it to noon. There you go. And that is because I had a delay of 0. I could switch the delay accordingly if I made it 10, and if I was to turn it to night, as you can see, it's taking a little bit of time before the next skeleton is being spawned. Put it to noon again. Let this lot die out. And if I go here, put it to say 100, and then make it night again. Now we can see a noticeable difference. The machine waits a lot longer to spawn the next mob. Just put it to noon again. Let these guys die out. Kill this armored guy. Now Rotarycraft actually does have an item that lets you collect mob spawners. You don't have to put in the machine where you find the spawners. If I go in the book here and flick ahead, there you go. If you use pile drivers or a boring machine, and if you're lucky enough to actually break down these mob spawners, you will get them back as a drop. They will not be broken down into experience. You will get them back. Meaning, if you use those machines in a dungeon and you get back these spawners, you can take them as a drop, and you can put it in your base if you want to. Although that's a bad idea. You could put it in your own personal mob grinder. So it's extremely handy. And next I have another very handy machine, the mob harvester. Again, it's quite obvious what it does. It kills mobs and then gives you the drops. If I go to the book here, flick through the pages, we can see that the mob harvester does exactly that. It kills mobs that are walking or surrounding the top part of the machine. And if I go here, we can see how much power we need and how much damage is dealt. Again, it works with the logarithm scale. Again, I'll put up some annotations to explain this a bit better. But if I turn this machine on and if I check it, it is getting power. If we see, the orange box is where the mob has to be for it to be harvested. So if I spawn a pig and walks closer, we can see that it got killed. And just like that. If you also see closely, we can see that experience is indeed being dropped, and so are the drops. So if you use a few items in unison, namely the mob harvester and the spawner control, you got yourself a mob grinder. You don't have to do anything else. Just spawn some animals and the mob harvester kills them for you. This cow is being stubborn. There you go. Now this doesn't just work for neutral animals, this works for hostile mobs as well. And yeah, it's a very handy machine. As you can see, the animals are being killed. Oh no, little cow got... If you've also noticed that the cows are actually being drawn towards the machine and then they're being killed. This one's being stubborn. Oh, it's going now. If I spawn a couple more, being pulled towards the machine, and the laser beam shoots up. This guy's being stubborn. Just there you go. If you see carefully, the baby mobs are actually not being pulled towards the machine. Now I don't know if I'm being super lucky or if that's actually the case. So let me test it out for a couple of seconds and then I'll give you the answer. And no, they are not being attracted to the box. But the big cow is, however. So there you go. The mob harvester is actually quite smart. It only harvests the adult animals. Next we have another machine that's quite handy, and that is the fan. The fan, as you can guess, creates wind. If I open up the book and go to the fan, we can see that it emits a stream of air that pushes back entities. And if I go here, we can see how much power is required to work the fan. Again, the range increases depending on how much power you put in, using this little formula here. And if I go back, we can see that the max power level is just over 2 million watts of power. And after that, the range will not increase at all. As you can see here, we can use the fan to uproot crops to harvest them, or to put out fires, or to spread fires. Now if I turn on the fan, we can see that the machine is running, and if I throw things in there, or say mobs get in there, they will be pushed forward. If I click it with an angular transducer, we can see this blue box. The blue box is the range of its wind. Oh, as you can see here, it's taking me quite a while to walk. For comparison, this is my normal speed, but if I was to walk against the fan, I have slowed down here. Click here, you can see the box, and I get pushed back from just around here. That also works with other things, say a lever, throw that down there, and it gets pushed back. As you can see, the items are being pushed back just until the range. So I increased the speed to 2 million, and the torque is still 1, but the overall power should be just 2 million watts. So let's see what happens when I walk in front of the fan. And I get shot back quite a bit. Let's see how long the range is now. Right click. There you go. Quite a distance. Slowly, there you go. Spawn a pig. Bye bye piggy. I guess this would make for good transport if you wanted to go in a certain direction really quickly. Well, I was just being slowed down before, now I can't even walk against the wind. I'm being pushed back regardless. Let's see if I can sprint against it. No, I can't. It's still too much. Yeah, this would make for good transport as well. An alternative to minecarts if you like using minecarts. Just stand in front of the fan and get blasted back. And here's another thing you can do with the fan. Hover. There you go. All I did was make sure the fan pointed upwards, and therefore the air was being blasted upwards. I put the power back out just to the minimum, so the fan isn't pushing that hard, but I can still jump on top of it and hover. Just like that. It should work with mobs as well. And there you go. A flying pig. Quite majestic in its own way. So yeah, you can power the fan with just a DC engine, which is like the lowest tier of engine you can get. You don't have to supply it with any fuel, so you can have fun with a fan from the start of the game. If I go here and increase up the power to 2 million, as you can see the pigs died, but if I put it there, I can't even see the pig anymore. Let's see what happens when I jump on top of it. Oh no, the pigs are falling. It's like a catapult flinging pigs around. Mid-air pig juggling. There's something really fun about juggling pigs in mid-air. Oh, I wonder if you can do this. Put a saddle on it. Hop onto it. There you go. I'm riding on a floating pig. If I were to move forward, the pig died. And next we have the sprinkler. The sprinkler has quite a few very important functions in this mod. Namely, you can use it to hydrate farmland without having water source blocks around it. You can use it to speed up the growth of crops. You can use it to water crops, like I said. And quite importantly, you can also use it to extinguish fires. If you watched my last part, you could see that the machines in Rotarycraft have a tendency to explode if you let them overheat. And if they do, they might explode or they might start fires, and if you use the sprinklers, you can put out the fires without doing it manually. If I go here, you can see that the range depends on the water pressure. In my last video, I mentioned that some machines require higher pressure to work, and the sprinkler is one of those machines that needs higher pressure if you want to increase the range. As you can see, I have the sprinkler here, and there is a pump down there which I'm using to pump water and to increase the pressure. As you can see, the pressure is just over 3500 kilopascals. So if I just connect the pipe to the top of the sprinkler, it starts working. Obviously this isn't the most effective build, but I'm just making it this way for demonstration purposes. If I take a hoe and do this, we can see that they are being hydrated. And if I was to take some seeds, plant it down, and give it a bit of time, we would be able to see that the plants would grow faster. If I check the sprinkler, we can see its max range is 4 meters, and regardless of the pressure, it won't go higher than 4 meters. If I was to wait for a tiny bit, I would be able to see the plants growing, but that's it for the sprinkler. Next we have another very handy machine, the wood cutter. As the name suggests, it cuts wood. If I just find the woodcutter's page, there you go. It will cut down any tree just in front of it, and it requires that much power, that much torque, and the power input is from the back. If I turn on the machine, we can see that it starts cutting down this tree. As you saw, the leaves fell down and the wood got chopped down. If I was to break these, we can see that the machine also planted another sapling. And we can see that it dropped some items. If we go here, it drops some sawdust and wood. Now if I take some bone meal these trees, we can see that the machine starts right away chopping down the wood. And the leaves fall down with quite a nice animation. Put this down again. And there you go. and that is the woodcutter. Last but not least, we have this, the fertilizer. As the name suggests, the fertilizer fertilizes crops that are growing around it. If I just take my hoe, plant some seeds, and feed some bone meal into it, we can see that when it's given appetite, which is from another mod, or bone meal, we can accelerate the growth of nearby crops, saplings, and other plants. And once again, we can see that the range is calculated from this logarithm formula. Now, if I turn the machine on, start spinning, and give it enough time, it should start fertilizing the plants. And there you go. This one's already grown a tiny bit. If we look in the top of the screen, it's grown 14% in just a few seconds. Well, I had to wait quite a bit for these plants to grow. There you go, this has just grown recently. Obviously the sprinkler isn't as efficient as using bone meal, because this machine obviously uses up the bone meal. And yeah, that is the fertilizer. And those are all the farming machines in Rotarycraft. If you like the video, please leave a like or subscribe to my channel for more Minecraft videos, and thanks for watching.